the old school sales approach is, hey, we're going to talk about the positives. We're going to reiterate the positives. We're going to talk about how we solve your problems. And then I'm going to go for the close. That's the old school sales approach. I have always had way more luck in my life to build trust. How do you build trust in a sales environment? You show them that you know your stuff. And I have this whole chapter on sales in the book where I literally lay out this formula, but you show them that you know your stuff. And then you talk about the downsides so that they really know that you're worrying about the things that could go wrong, and they build even more trust. Obviously, you do talk about why you're qualified, why you can do a great job. You talk about the benefits, but then you talk about why it's hard. Like recruiting is really, really hard. We get 50,000 applicants a month to place 250 quality candidates. It's really hard. So if you can be a salesperson in the recruiting business and talk about that, say, look, we're really good at what we do. Like you're working with the best. We can source all over the world. Here's blah, 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 blah. But by the way, this is really hard. Or in the storage business, when I was raising all that money as a 25-year-old, I went in and said, look, like there's a chance this goes poorly. Here's what I'm worried about. Here's what I'm worried about from a debt perspective. Here's what I'm worried about from an operational perspective. Here's what makes storage hard as a business. Here are our risk factors. If interest rates double over the next 4 years, we're going to be stuck in this thing for a really long time. And then I would shut up and say, how do you feel about that? And that's the key. After you've talked about the risks, after you've built trust, you basically throw it back at them. Hey, so why are you still interested in this? Basically, why are you still talking to me? And I found that a lot of people end up selling themselves and kind of mentally talking themselves into working with you, and you're level set on expectations. That's the amazing thing about doing this from a sales perspective. Stress in life, all stress in life is unmet expectations. Somebody expects something of you and you are not delivering. That's every single stressful thing in your life, whether it be customers, partners, spouses, anything. You're stressed because you told your wife you'd be home at 5 o'clock and you're on the 17th tee box and it's 4:45. That's a little bit of stress. Then you're very stressed when you told people who gave you $20 million that you're going to double the size of a company and it's not doubled yet. And you're, like that's an example, right? So you talk about those downsides and then you ask them, okay, what makes you still interested in investing in storage if I just told you what could go wrong here? And then they start to sell themselves and you have a really down to earth conversation and you go into the relationship in a situation where you can outperform. You can under promise and over deliver. And that's an amazing place to be as a business owner.
One question, you're clearly still in, again, like several high stakes environments. Like you have a lot of capital under management, a lot of square footage, a lot of employees. I understand why writing the book. And I definitely appreciate as like a reader, like there's a lot of really useful things in here. Thank you for writing this. But why was now the timing good? Like I understand like why you'd want to do this eventually, give back and kind of share your wisdom. But like with everything going on,
want to hear the honest answer?
The amount of work involved must have been quite it's like, there's no way you wrote this in a short amount of time.
Yeah. So I sold my book deal to HarperCollins and got my advance on October 25th, 2023.
Okay.
So the book has been a long, hard process. We can talk about that if you want, but Marshall called me and told me he wanted to sell the majority interest in somewhere.com like 10 days after I sold my book. So he called me and said, look, man, I got an offer for $47 million to sell this company. I owned 12.75% of it at the time. It was growing really fast, doing phenomenal. And he said, do you want to sell half of your equity? Do you want to sell 6.125% of it? And make I was doing some basic math. Damn, $3 million. That's life, like for a guy like me and my family and where I came from, that's life-changing money. Obviously I'd have a tax bill. It wouldn't be, set for life type money, but this is massive. Still own part of it. And sometimes in life you get an opportunity where you just feel and the ambition in you kicks in and you realize that this could be really, really big and you want to be on the other end of the trade. So I convinced him over the next month and a half to sell to me instead. And we negotiated the deal.